Who's got the music?
Hey, good to see everybody. We got the whole panel here. Welcome to Coin Q&A. Hope y'all are all doing good tonight. Let me make sure. I'll be right back. I'm going to mute. There we go. Give me 1 second to do a little set. All right, I'm back. So welcome to another Coin Q&A at Mantic Coins. Thank you guys for coming. Good to see you all in chat. We got Linda Wallace and Paula and Cuz Are Us, Listen, Hidden, Bill Batts, JC Will, Flaw Finder, Bigfoot Silver, D Reese, Mike Wolf. Hey, there's Trey. All right. So you guys have been busy this week. I got over 20 emails prior to the show already. That is fantastic. That's the most I think we've ever had before the show.
Hey, Trey.
Well, we'll get 20 more in 2 hours.
Yeah. So, we do have a busy night in front of us, but let's start with introductions. You guys know me. Maybe we can start with Ken. You want to tell them a little bit about yourself? I know.
Oh, all right. I've got a button I got to press. Hey, how are you? I'm Ken. I operate the, I don't know what I do. I got so much stuff on my plate. The 1 Million Pennies Project, blogspot.com. A lot of fun, a lot of good information. We're putting together the SAN database, which hopefully will be available in the next couple of weeks. Lots to do there. Good Lord. I like to talk about coins. I like to show off coins. If you come to my channel, I'm probably, talking about coins and showing them off. That's what we do. We get involved in Facebook groups. We have a big show. We? Who's we? Who's we, baby? Oh, okay. That's us, apparently. The big show is on Sunday night. We give away so much stuff, it doesn't make sense. Dude, it's crazy. And we put together this thing. We've been doing it, well, the whole bunch of us. We've been doing it for months and months. People send in their coins and photos and questions, and we answer them live. Well, that's all I got.
Awesome.
Chris, promote the hobby.
I mean, how do you follow up after that?
Form a coherent sentence, I'd suggest.
Well, I'm sure you guys all know me by now. I'm here every week with these guys. We have a lot of fun, but I'm Chris, mostly active in the Facebook coin groups. I do write informative blog articles, adventures in coin roll hunting at blogspot.com. I do have a YouTube channel that I'm not very active on because I am a busy guy, Chris's Coin Channel. But as always, this is my favorite thing to do. I look forward to it every week. And I'm looking forward to answering some questions today. So nice to see you all. You guys were here early. Like, we were in the private chat, having fun and chatting. And we saw you guys kept piling in right around 8 o'clock. So that's pretty cool. Thanks a lot.
Hey, my name's Jeff Stanley. I'm the new guy on the panel, and a little bit about me is I'm started to do a lot of videos, so I'm trying to take what I've learned from a lot of these guys, and I'm trying to give back to the community. I'm pretty active on several Facebook pages where I'm actually actively learning myself, but I'm also trying to help new folks. I'm hoping that I can help out on this panel with some of the coins that you all send in. I'm looking forward to see what all you all have, and so let's learn together. I got some new videos that dropped this week, so you get a chance, go and check those out. Those are brand new on the hashtag tips for new collectors.
Awesome.
Hey, I got to say something here quick. Usually Ken, takes the show with his shirts, but Jeff, love that shirt, man.
What? The Motorhead shirt?
Oh, hell me.
The only dirty thing I had on the only undirty thing I had on the floor.
Oh, we got Beth Coddington. Hello.
Ooh, welcome back, Beth.
Hey, Beth.
And my awesome moderator, Coin and Card Hobbyist, is here. Good to see you, Amanda. And Peter B. and Jeff Dunn, Shannon McCord, we got Paul Hampton, and Ant's here. Adam Chambers, Randy Collins. Good to see you guys. Thank you for joining. Everybody's ready to get some
card hobbyist.
New increase their knowledge of coins tonight. That's awesome. So we're going to do something a little different. Usually we have a discussion topic that we debate for a whole week, or maybe 5 minutes before the show, but that doesn't really matter. But tonight we're going to pose the question to you guys to come up with a question that you would like to hear us discuss. Y'all throw your questions up, and we'll see what we can do. I'll gather the questions and then maybe pick some of the ones that we can do. So yeah, coin related, please. All right, let's see.
Or cars or beer or lots of other topics now. Music.
Otherwise, let's jump into letter number 1, and let me grab that real quick.
From Coinzilla, struck through capped die? 1972 Denver. It weighs 3.1 grams, so I don't think it's due to acid. Let's find out.
That's pretty smooth over.
Yeah.
That's buffeted.
You know what this is? It looks like we have a theme for tonight anyway with one of the other coins we talked about, but this is one I would consider a dryer coin. But a different type of dryer coin than we're going to see later on. This one is one that was probably inside one of the fins inside your dryer at home and bouncing around a bunch, and basically it beats up the face of the coin and kind of mushes everything out. Yep, Ant agrees. Dryer coin.
Yep.
Yeah, if you take a hammer and beat on a coin, it's going to leave a sharp mark right here, right now. It's going to be obvious. But if you take, say, a rubber mallet and beat on that same coin, it's not going to leave marks. It's going to smooth out the details. It'll just be ever more squishy. That's what's going on. Well, it doesn't have to be a hammer. It could be anything that's hitting that coin repeatedly over a long period. Clothing would do it.
All right, let me grab the next one. Boy, we have so many.
I forgot that guy's name already.
We got a good question over here from Michelle. What is your top type of coin to collect for building up your silver? Starting to collect and only plan to spending roughly $100 every 2 weeks. All right, we can jam on that one for a bit, I'm sure.
Well, hey, I'll start. I love generic silver rounds. You can get them really cheap, and you're getting 1 full ounce of pure silver. I do also like U.S. coinage and foreign coinage that has silver in it, but that stuff is so weird. You can go anywhere from 10% silver content to 30 to 45 to sterling silver, so that gets a little funky. But I love the generic silver rounds with the different designs on them. Usually the ones that are similar to older U.S. coin designs, like the Morgan design or something like that. That's the kind of stuff I like. And art bars. Can't go wrong with some art bars.
I think if you really want to invest in silver, you should be buying the highest quality, lowest premium silver that you can and
Mhm.
stack that.
And generic rounds, right?
Generic rounds. Go to Jay and Bullion and get your 10 ounces at spot first order. Go constantly get on newsletters and try to get the best price spot and chase spot around and see what you can do. I wouldn't buy on the weekend. I'd wait to see what silver does on Monday, Tuesday, that sort of thing. Keep an eye on the market, look for trends, and try to just buy at the lowest premium you can. Silver is one of those things where you don't have a lot of movement. Of course, many years ago, there's lots of discussion about silver up in the 40s, and yeah, sure, it could always happen again, but it could also go back down to a couple of bucks. So you buy it at the lowest premium, you stack it. It's real. It's an asset, and it will stay through make it through time and still be valuable. So that's my opinion. But what do you guys think?
You can pick up dimes, quarters, half dollars by the roll, real easy, and you're paying whatever multiple of face value. What's it now? $14 face value. So you're looking at $6 or $7 for a half dollar, $1.25 per dime. But you can pick up, entire rolls at a time, and they're good for melt, right? But if melt holds steady, you don't see a big increase in the price. You still have some numismatic value coming to bear, and even if silver stays the same for the next 50 years, the numismatic value of the coin also will increase. So you can have a potential for gain there. There's nothing wrong at all with silver rounds, right? They're beautiful, they're pretty, they're really tight. It's an ounce, it's 0.999 or 90% or whatever it is. But they're not backed up with face value, whereas U.S. coinage is. Even if silver goes bust, you're still good for 50 cents on the face value, or 10 cents, or a quarter, or whatever. And you can get a hold of these pretty darn easily. You got a coin dealer in your town, you can get them on eBay. Lots of them, easy. And if you're spending $100 every couple of weeks, yeah, you could easily afford a roll of silver dimes, Mercury dimes, for example, or even some Roosevelts. But stick with it. If your objective is to amass silver, it's not so much the numismatic end of the hobby as it is the silver, the precious metals side of the hobby. But watch and learn, and see what other people are doing, and you'll pick up little tips for yourself that way. Coin Sense and Nonsense just picked up Mercury dimes for $1.15.
I got 17 rolls of silver rosies that I gotta sell. So I'm saying.
I like to hit the junk silver myself. If for nothing else, if I can get a bag of rosies, Mercury dimes, Washington quarters, or whatever, I like to get the bag of those, because 9 times out of 10, the guys that are selling that stuff are only weighing the silver. They're not really paying attention to, and they don't have time to pay attention to varieties. I'll go ahead and pick through and take the time to look for varieties. I'll even go so far as to, I'll do a silver run rosy set and sell that at a premium above and beyond silver. Worst case, if I don't have a full set, I've got my 90% silver. I've got I'm still stacking the silver in the bag of rosies I got. And I've found some good stuff. I've found some excellent stuff in junk silver.
See, that's the benefit of buying that kind of stuff. For us, we all love the variety, so those guys don't care about that stuff. Find yourself a good dealer, a good precious metals dealer, and I'm lucky. There's a guy that has a shop not too far from me, and he deals in that much that other dealers sell their stuff to him. It's crazy how much he deals in, but I'll ask him if he has any junk silver that day, and he'll pull out. There were times I went there and he had uncirculated peace dollars, selling them at almost junk silver prices. So yeah, find yourself a good dealer. There's got to be one somewhere around you. Go to shows. Hand poured silver. If you can get that cheap, oh man, that stuff is beautiful.
That's my favorite thing to do, Jeff. Buy a roll of silver something and search it for varieties. I've been doing that a lot lately. I got 18 rolls of silver rosies and found RPMs, double dyes, clashes, all sorts of good stuff. So it can be done.
That's where the coinage actually surpasses the ability of the rounds. I'm going to have a dye variety in there, and sometimes they can be some good money. RPMs, you're talking $3 to $5 as opposed to the $1.50 you paid. If you got, let's say, a double dye on a round, it's no big deal. If you have a double dye on a $0.50, now it could be good for a few extra bucks. So if you want to get deeper into the cherry picking aspect of the hobby, you're not going to go wrong with 90% U.S. coinage.
All right. Great question. Thank you so much, Michelle. That's awesome. Anybody else, feel free to post one and we'll take it after the next mail. All right. Let's go here.
Denise bought 100 mortgages for $200. Good price. Good price.
Wow. I hope they're real. All right.
Yeah, I like that question.
Oh, yeah. Let me take that off somehow.
Click on somebody else's comment and you get to it quick. From Liberty Seeker Coins, got a 1968D $0.50. Is it a DDR, double dye reverse? I posted a video on this a while back. Wanted to get your thoughts on this. Do you have a DDR or MD? Thanks for your expertise. This is textbook machine doubling.
MD.
Indeed. MD. Yeah. But I always talk to people about this because when you look at Variety Vista and you're not trained to see the doubling, you think that they have pictures that have MD on it, but they also have doubling, and so it's quite confusing for new collectors because they can't always tell the difference. But do you see the flat shelf-like the appearance of the letters, and notice that the letters with that doubling or whatever you want, the MD, are actually the correct width if you add it all up together. On a doubled die, you're going to have it bigger, thicker, and you can see how the flat metal goes back into the device and there's no splits, there's no separation. So those are just a few points to make sure you're aware of. But oftentimes you got to study those pictures from Variety Vista and read the description where it might say something like there is doubling on the R in America. But then you see all this stuff and your mind just goes with it, and you think, oh, well, that's all doubling. No, it's just on that R, and it's a tiny little split in the corner of the leg, But anyway, anybody else have anything to add?
Yeah, I could tell you exactly how that's made.
No, I was going to say that's textbook. Just the way it the
Hi, Jessica.
The thickness adds nothing to the width of the letter, and then just the shelf-like appearance. And it's the fact it's kind of all over on all of the design elements, all over the coin.
Yeah, Jeff makes a really good point there. Typically, when you see doubling or so-called doubling on numerous different design elements, in this case, it's on the letters. It's on the stars. If you look close, you can see it on some of the stars. and it's on the wing. You got 3 different design elements there showing the same type of doubling. That's almost always going to be machine doubling. From Perry Art, taproot error on quarter. I have 2 1997 and 3 1994 with the same error. Taproot, growing from branch down over the O in dollar. Is this a good find? Well, I see some die cracks. We've talked about this before. Die cracks are relatively common, but it's like the gateway drug to bigger and better errors and varieties. It gets a lot of people interested in checking their pocket change a little bit closer, and some of them are well placed. They're in good spots, and they get funky names like spitting horse or pooping horse or what have you, but they generate a lot of interest. So, yeah, are they good finds? Absolutely.
You might want to avoid the vernacular names like the pooping horse because it's just a die chip. And pooping horse doesn't really point to what the issue is, being a die chip. Here you got taproot is the vernacular term. That doesn't point to what it actually is. It's a die crack.
I like that Chris called it the gateway drug because it really does spark an interest in maybe how that die crack came to be. And it's also a realization that may come to you that the dies have a limited lifetime and they get damaged during the process. And that damage, die transfers to the coin. And it's the fundamentals of how coins are minted. So if you can go down that path and start doing other research and figuring out how this stuff works, I think you'll really start to enjoy the hobby, All right.
I'll take this one. Agent Lumpy, 1964D. Can you tell me what those 2 marks are that look like horseshoes?
I'm going to tell you what it is before I see the picture. Are there 2 or 3 in a row?
Ooh.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you what it is before I see it.
It's a little different than I expected too.
Now, I can show you some other marks that you'll see a lot. That's damage from something impacting the coin.
Yeah, the metal was displaced out of the hole or whatever that, or gouge or whatever that was, post mint.
A little blurry. But yeah, post mint damage. I imagine like a real teeny itty bitty. No, I'm not even going to say it. Never mind. It's looking at me. All right.
Little boobs. Okay. The big tell is the raised metal and depressed voids. You've got something has sunk into the field of the coin, and you've got metal that's been pushed up. Now, for that to appear as a result of being produced by the die, you'd have to have some raised areas on the die to match the voids on the coin, and you have to have some depressed areas on the die to match the raised areas on the coin. And this is not the sort of thing that occurs very often. Sometimes you get a die gouge, but they wouldn't be anywhere near this pronounced. Carson City says coin sense and nonsense. From Silver Superman, a 2019 dime. We just wanted the expert's opinion on what I would call a DDR. I'm only using one light source, rotated coin, to make sure the notches and splits weren't false readings from the light. Well, let's have a look at it.
Coming up.
Die deterioration. Yep, that's die deterioration is what I'm seeing. Is that a split on the top left of the E?
I saw what almost looked like a split and separation on the last picture as well. The top of the C. It's a tough one.
Now you can have die deterioration and doubling on the same coin. One is an issue of the hubbing. One is the die being worn out. The top right of that C begs for more attention.
Yeah, it does. I'm wondering, is this in a holder of some sort? Look at the bottom of the E and P. But I've had this before, depending on where the lighting is coming from. It does give the false indication of notches when it's actually just the shape. Oh, yeah, we're looking through plastic. Yeah, I can't really say for sure. We need pictures outside of the holder.
This is too.
That's not good enough.
Yeah.
Light source looks like it's actually might even be multiple light sources.
Oh, he said
Coming from over from above the coin.
Yeah, but if it's from above the coin and it's with one of those USB microscopes with the ring lights, you actually have multiple light sources.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And I mean, it's a 2019. I would expect doubling.
In the center there. See, in 97, they went to a single squeeze process. They used to strike the hub into the die repeatedly. Now they use greater pressure, heat them up. They changed the process. So we're not getting the same sorts of, the same classes of doubling that we used to get. Mostly we get the class 9s, which are located mostly in the center because the die is conical when it's started. So I'm going to be naturally skeptical when I see somebody claiming a double die reverse and it's not in the center of the coin.
yeah, I mean, we got to use the evidence we have here, and that is the lighting looks a little, like it needs some help. It is, like you said, a 2019, so the doubling should be more prominent in the center. So I'm going to say no, but I would like to see better pictures outside of the 2x2.
All right. He sent another one.
Super Silverman, 1970 proof, small dates. Cherry picked 2 small date sets from an incredibly rude local coin shop the other day. He thought they were large dates and have them labeled as such. I was happy to pay $9 a piece. Well, boy, you got to enjoy those small victories, right? Yeah.
And that's where kind of knowing your stuff really pays off.
Yep, you get a high 7 and the 9 points. That 9 doesn't quite point. I'd like to get closer in on that. Can we see Liberty? Can we see Liberty?
Oh, yeah.
What?
It's a little bit soft.
It is. So So these other pickup points are important for you to check too. If you're looking at 1970s, I mean this one is tough. I mean the 7 is obviously the same height as the 0, and usually the large
and the 9.
and the 9 points back at the 7. The thing that's throwing me off is that the bottom of the 9, the downward point of the top of the 9 is a little flatter than I'm used to. I'm used to it coming to an exact point right at the 7. You see how it's like flattened at the end? That's usually a sign of a large date.
Well, the shape of the 0 also indicates that it's a small date.
Yeah, and it's also so curved. It's a lot tighter curve on this small date. So, very cool.
Yeah, I put a board across the screen, and that 7 lines up with the top of the 9 and the top of the 0. That's a small date.
Yeah.
So you get a weak liberty, you get a chiseled point on the end of the 9, the lower end of the 9, and the 7 is up top. Yeah, that's a peach. That's a $50 coin you got up for $9.
Sweet. That's a win all day long.
Yeah, if you look at the shape of the 0, it almost looks like it's kind of leaning to the right a little bit. You know what I mean? Does anybody else see that?
Yes.
At the top. So that's also an indicator. Very tough to see, but that's also an indicator.
All right, let's move on. That's awesome, Super Silverman. And in case y'all don't know, Super Silverman was one of the other folks who found a 5 on the cheek SMS, 1966 SMS dime, and he helped me out and sent me some markers. And so,
did your markers line up?
I did. I've got the different markers lined up. So I'm going to be taking I need to go a little bit deeper into the side-by-side comparisons. Wasn't quite ready to do it for this show, but maybe at some point here in the near future. All right.
And what year SMS was that?
66.
Okay.
All right, next one's going to be from Agent Lumpy. Let me grab this.
Not sure what this is, 1946S, but looks like the G in God seems to be deeply embedded in the planchet. Also, Lincoln's mouth seems extended as if struck incorrectly.
Thought I was going to get it in time, but nope.
You do a good job, Shay.
Let's see. G in God seems to be deeply embedded in the planchet. Also, Lincoln's mouth seems extended. G in God.
I'm seeing a lot of contact marks in this coin.
Yeah, there's a lot of contact marks around the mouth.
As far as the deep embedded, I mean, I see a little bit of a curvature of the field of the coin there out towards the rim that may give the appearance that the G is sunken in, but it just looks like a well-circulated coin to me.
Yeah, these are not typeset. The design comes from the die. It's going to be the same on every single coin produced. So I don't see anything out of the ordinary here except for a lot of contact marks.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Nothing specific.
See a coin sense?
Rode hard and put up wet. That's what that was.
From Bill Nye the Science Guy. 2018 Oklahoma quarter. I'm sorry, that's just what came in my head when I saw Bill N. 2018 Oklahoma quarter struck through debris. Really enjoy watching and learning from it. Thank you, Bill. I have been searching through quarter boxes the past year and recently came across this 2008 D Oklahoma quarter. I almost discarded it as trash until I put it under the microscope. I believe this is considered struck through debris by grading companies. I call it struck through fabric. I've been fooled many times while coin searching, so have I been fooled again? Or is my finding legit? I look forward to all your opinions and comments. Thank you. Whoa.
Wow.
What's going on here? The first thing I'm going to suspect is a contaminant across the coin that is picked up by some other design.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking glue, maybe, but
I mean, it could have been glued to fabric.
Yeah.
Because it definitely has the pattern of fabric, but that's not a struck through. That is definitely on the surface of the coin. If you look right above the R in America, you can see, even there, you can see the shadowing that shows the depth.
Yeah, that stuff is extra.
Yeah, that's something on the coin.
Yeah, none of the lines on the design elements are affected by whatever that is. They're just as sharp underneath as they are on the fields that are where it's a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, that's on top. That's a contaminant.
so are you? So that's on top. I mean, I'm looking. I was trying to look at it backwards and see if this.
Look at the shadow, Shay, where the shadow is, right?
Yeah.
You have the shadow right in front of that anomaly everywhere. That shows that is higher than the coin. It's raised above the coin.
Yeah. If that was struck through, RTY would be mostly obliterated.
Yeah, if you've ever seen a struck through cloth example,
Yeah.
even though it's only cloth, you think, what the heck could cloth do to the coin? It pretty much obliterates the designs that it affects.
So this scratch must have been there before the contaminant was placed.
Right.
Yes.
Got it.
Denise mentioned acetone. Whatever's on here, acetone would probably take it off, or at least soften it so you could pick it off with a toothpick or something.
Look up above the letter or letter E and we, and you can see the open spot right there where it didn't quite cover. If that was a struck through, I wouldn't think I'd see it like that.
Good point. Okay.
I can do a presentation if you like.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, you've been looking for a reason to use that Play-Doh, huh?
Oh man, it's all over the place here. Okay, I'm going to take a die here. This is a planchet, and here we have a die that CJ made. I'm going to strike a coin. It's going to go just like that, right? The depressed areas on the die show up raised on the coin. Okay, now let's do it again, but I'm going to strike through something. I'm going to have something in between the die and the planchet. In this case, I'm going to use, what's this? Here's a junky penny from 2006. All right, and I'm going to strike this coin, which is the purple planchet. I'm going to strike it through that penny. Dun, 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 and there we go. Now I'm going to dig that out with a toothpick, which I'm not ready for. And I'm going to see that this has left a space. It has screwed up There's my regular design, has a C and the J, but it has blocked the die from making the impression of the C, just a little bit of it, and that it tells me exactly what pressed into it. In this particular case, it was another penny. Yeah. Now, if your strike through has not obliterated or at least altered to some degree the features on the coin, then it's probably not a strike through. Probably something that happened after the strike. Most of the things that happen to coins happen after the strike. But that's what a strike through is. Well, that's what we got there. You want to see my MD example now? Okay, machine doubling. Where's that square edge? Okay, here's a regular size T, right? There's your regular thickness, and this one has doubling, right? And we got 3 indicators. One, it's thicker than the regular piece. Oh, I broke it. It's thicker than the regular piece. Aha. It can have separation lines. It can have notches up here in the corner. Machine doubling is typically going to be flat, and it's not going to add any thickness to it. It'll look like that. No notches. There's a line down the middle, but it's not a separation line. It's a flat shelf is what's going on with that. Let's see if we can see that. That's a flat shelf. And that's occurring because the flat field of the die is striking what was already existing on the coin. And it can be, go around corners, but it's still a flat shelf. Whereas you're doubled, it's wider than normal. Okay, this is not the best example. I could straighten that up. It's wider than normal. You can have separation lines. You can have notches. But also, the relief, if we take a look at that, the relief is right up there with a regular coin, with a regular design. It's got meat to it. It's got substance. It's got shape. No shape, just a flat shelf all the way across. That's a classic indicator of machine doubling. Well, that's what I got so far.
Picturing that cross section always kind of helps me out.
I can do it thinner. There you go. There's a cross section. All right, so you got the regular relief comes up to this high, but the flat shelf, well, it's flat. It does not have the same relief. And I just screwed that one up. Now it's in 2 pieces. No, I'll just get that out of the way. Yeah, not all the presentations are easy to see and use and do. There we go. All right. There, but the relief is substantial. It's not flat. It's not a shelf. It's got real contour to it. No good. Good.
Awesome.
The Plato Professor Seema says. From Bob T, a 1795 large cent error. What's up with the obverse? Is that a minting error? Was it damaged by hitting with something?
Love these old girls.
Oh yeah, she's pretty, but looks like somebody smacked her around a little bit.
Oh.
We're looking through a holder that's not helping. This old copper, these are 100% copper back in the day. That's a sweetheart. So the chances of having a woody or a funny alloy mix, they're few and far between, but every now and then something gets in there. Something gets in the pot. Maybe it's a piece of iron from the side of the crucible that was used to produce the copper. But if you were to strike the coin with a blunt object, maybe another coin, it's going to effectively tear open the surface and expose the fresh copper underneath.
So do you think he's talking about that? Or do you think he's talking about that? Or do you think he's talking about that?
Well, I still believe all of the above are damage anyway.
Yep.
But that's a pretty decent looking coin for $17.95.
Look at that year.
Yeah, that's why it's
Even
$200
date.
coin.
Awesome.
Damaged or not, I'm still envious. I love it.
Yeah, it's hard to get these that don't have damage.
Oh, you're going to pay for them if they don't have any damage.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll take this. From D. Reese, 1946 Jefferson. Looking at the right rim on the reverse, does this look like cud or some sort of retained material? It looks odd to me. Maybe a rim burr?
That's a folded over rim burr.
Or if you notice, there is a there's the shape is kind of different right where that same thing is happening. It looks like something hit the edge of the coin right there.
Can you show the edge of the coin at that point?
See how it kind of curves in right at that same area?
There you go.
Yeah.
I took a hit, knocked some metal up, and that metal folded over.
Yep, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
But this is why we're here, because this can easily be confused for, the folded over rim burr. But you got to look at I would call them the context clues, the information you see around it, and just seeing that indentation on the rim right in the same exact area where that is folded over would be too coincidental in my opinion. So as Ken said, something hit it, scraped off a tiny little bit of metal, and it got pressed down into the coin.
Let me get another spot up at 1 o'clock.
Oh,
It doesn't have the folded metal, but it's got a knock on it.
no.
And up at 11 o'clock too.
Yep, she's beat up.
Can I produce that? I got my Play-Doh out again. I can produce that. Okay, there's my struck coin. Dun-dun-dun. Looks just like that. Isn't that pretty? Looks like CJ. Now something came in and hit it right over here. Hit it real good. Doink. Left a depression. I got a bit of a raised metal. What if something else kind of shoved that over? I would have not unlike what you have. I can produce your coin away from the mint. Huh. That's
like an exact copy, Ken.
Well, it's a little bigger and clumsier, but that's the idea of what's going on. Now, there are things that the mint does produce, right? When they're annealing when they're raising up the rim, it will have little bits of raised metal sometimes, little burrs. Okay, if I can do this right. And every now and then, the mint will produce these, and it folds over for whatever reason. And key indicators, sometimes it's struck. So I've got my design elements showing. Let me see if I can really do this well. There, let me get a good one. Let me make a big one. Okay, there, the mint frigged up, right? They got some kind of extra metal here, and it folds over and then gets struck. Now, this is indicative of a folded over rim burr, where I have design details pressed in to the fold, right? Whereas what you have on your nickel looks like it took a smash and then squeezed. Of course, it's in a spot that has no detail. But if you can reproduce it real easy after the mint, go with the assumption of damage.
I want to grab the next one because it's similar.
A lot of strike throughs this week.
You see that strike through Adam Chambers is selling?
Not yet. From D. Reese, got a 1940 Jefferson. Next one, I immediately thought damage, but the more I look at it, it does make me wonder. Do you think this is damage or some other form of issue? Damage.
Yipper.
I got gouges across the top of the head. I got poke marks around, under R and Liberty. I got a big weird thing going over there at 10 o'clock. Yeah, that took a heavy hit and got squeezed over.
Poor Jefferson.
Yeah. What I just showed you pertains to this one as well.
That had to hurt.
Yeah, this is what happens when you throw pennies and nickels off the top of the Empire State Building. Now, for this to happen at the mint, right, what would we see? We'd have to see letters through that folded over bit, wouldn't we?
Yep.
You could probably actually peel that up and still see the letters underneath it.
From D. Reese, 1942 D. Jefferson. Just need your opinion if this is an RPM or not. I'm going to say not.
Not.
You got die deterioration on a leading edge. There's no relief here.
The part that's sticking out to the west too looks a little flat.
It could be an ambulating feeder finger that did that. Yeah, delete all references to that. That's going to become a thing, I can tell.
All right, so not an RPM. All right, let me.
So the metal flows across the surface and it goes into these devices and out of the devices. You got to change in the metal flow. It'll be speeding along above the D because there's no obstruction. But when it gets to the D, it's going to turn directions, go south into the device and across it and then back up. So it kind of slows it down. And you have additional wear points. And it's going to be radial from the center of the coin out towards the rim in any direction. And you can have leading and trailing edges of the design will look like it's been duplicated because it's the change in the metal flow is abrading the coin at a different rate. And you tend to get heavier wear marks.
Chris?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at my phone. From Flawed Finder. What the? So first, let me say I am not looking for the value of this coin, but rather an explanation of how it has come to be in this state. It's an odd one, and by most accounts, not so rare at all. I found many colorful accounts and some not so colorful in trying to discover how this happened. Can you please carefully look at and analyze these pictures and offer me an explanation on how this coin came to be in this condition? I can accept if it's acid, dryer coin, or whatever, but can you please explain how so that I know? I just want to know how it got to this condition. Saying it sat in a dryer for some time is really no explanation at all. I've come to think it's struck through with peeled edges, but really just want to know. Can you help, please? Okay, so we did discuss this one ahead of time before the show, and this is a dryer coin. This is actually a classic example of a dryer coin. And pretty much what happens is, so there is a guy whose name I forgot 10 times, but I remember now. His name is Bill O'Rourke. He is active on Facebook in some of the error and variety groups. He actually coined the term dryer coin. And at the time, it was because people that literally owned laundromats with the commercial dryers were pulling these type of coins out of the back of their dryers. And how it happens is, if you think about a dryer at your house, it's a little bit different in design than a dryer at one of those commercial laundromats. There is actually 2 tubs of the dryer at a commercial laundromat: an inner tub, which you put your clothing into, and an outer tub, which is kind of just the housing. Somehow, some way, these coins fall through cracks and make their way into these tubs. And just the centrifugal force of the dryer spinning somehow uprights these coins, and they get jammed in between those 2 tubs. And now you can picture one tub spinning, one tub stationary. The coin is actually now spinning around the dryer. So it's under tremendous pressure because it's literally jammed in between those 2 tubs. And it's being exposed to heat as well. So there are times it's going to fall over and get beat up. That's why the details are so mushy on the coin overall. And then it just gets jammed in there and spins around. And as that happens, the pressure actually slowly peels the metal from the rim out, and it gets pushed right back down into the coin itself. That's why you get these peeled edges. So that's a pretty detailed explanation of a damaged coin.
Oh, that was great. That's great.
Yeah.
Let me show you one. I've got a couple of these. Here's another example of one I have. I keep it close by to explain the same thing. Looks very similar.
Oh, Chuck's in the house.
Hey, Chuck.
What's up, Chuck?
I mean, this is strikingly similar, right?
Yeah. Yours wasn't in quite as long, Shay.
And then, of course, these things often pick up a lot of damage while they're in there too.
Yeah.
This is another one that I have. So I like looking at these just because they're a great reference to have, and once you know what it is, you never mistake it again.
Yeah. Now you're going to find some other different types of examples as well, and people are going to call them dryer coins, and in some cases they are. Sometimes, if you think about the dryer you have at your house, there's plastic fins inside the dryer that agitate the clothing while it's spinning. So, we all leave coins in our pocket, especially us coin roll hunters, and they fall out and they sometimes get jammed inside those fins, and they're bouncing around inside those hollow plastic fins, and they're going to get beat up in a different way. Then there's another one you'll see that sometimes gets stuck in washing machine pumps. So now they're in a circular type of pump that has, high pressure water flowing through it. And that's going to be an even different design. And then you're going to get what's called spooned coins, where the coins were actually beat on the edge on purpose with either a spoon or a small hammer. So most likely to make a coin ring, but who knows what the other reasons may be. But all of them have similar traits, and they are similar in nature. So hopefully that explanation was good, and you do now believe or know how this coin was created.
There you go. Can I get back?
Coming back.
If you look at the tops where it says "In God We Trust," for that die to create those letters, it would have to be showing. You're going to be looking at "In God We Trust," right? If the metal has subsequently covered the letters, right, then that's the only, the letters are in place, and then the metal comes in a squish over the letters. That's produced after it was minted. It's post-mint damage. If the metal was squished in before, then you should see the letters. Just like that. So is your design screwed up? Is metal on top of it? Metal over the design says post mint.
I'm going to share a link real quick. I did write a
all I've got.
very extensive blog article on that subject. I'm going to share that link here in a minute. And I actually have a bunch of visual examples of the different types of those coins. So somebody could take this link out of the private chat and share it to the live chat. I would appreciate it.
I'll do that. Well, I don't know if I've got mod on Shays.
Oh, Ken does.
I got it. There it is. Adventures in coin roll hunting.
So that link will take you to the article I wrote about those types of damaged coins. So if you do a coin roll hunt, you're undoubtedly going to come across them. So
From Leopoldo, doubled dies or RPMs. Check my coins if they are true doubled dies or just replenishment marks. Okay. It's got a lot of writing on it, guys.
woo!
It must be good. I'm just kidding.
Oh, silver.
You see stuff like this on eBay all the time, right? Like, all right, let's see. I think we have 4 coins. Hold on. 88, 2013. Let's just pick this one first. 2012.
That's not an RPM. Guaranteed.
Not an RPM.
Guaranteed.
For these, the doubling, you want to look right on the back side of the neck. And it's I don't think we're going to be able to make anything out of this one. I do have a number of examples of those, but it's just right there along his neck. There's 5 or 6 different varieties, I believe. You can see them on Wexler. But the rest of this just looks like a well-worn example, actually. 1964 D. I don't have a reverse, so I can't look for mint mark. And I don't see doubling.
Now you got to realize the mint mark is added after the die has been produced. So if you have a doubled die, right, it's going to be a separate issue from the repunch mint mark. You can have a repunch mint mark on a doubled die, but they're few and far between. Key indicator, if you have doubling on the mint mark as well as design features, then it's going to be machine doubling just about every single time because they're added at different times. Okay, he's got a die crack. I don't see any indication of a cud. And I think what you got here is written on the left side, die cuds. That's a terrifically misused term.
Yeah, I definitely see that crack going across the bottom of the bust.
PCGS MS68 best grade, huh? All right, 1988. So the mint marks are on the front for this year.
Yep.
It's a little,
yeah. But after 1989, the mint marks were added early in the process. Well, that's the end of repunch mint marks.
And I think there just might be some damage here. All right, 2013. So the doubling that you'll find on this coin would be right in this area right here. And that's pretty much it. You'll find die chips up here, which actually it looks like there might be a die chip there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not doubling. Wexler has a lot of good pictures. Variety Vista has some too, but it's all just in this little area here. So unfortunately, I don't think we do have any doubled dies or RPMs on
Could I
this.
do a demo?
Sure.
Because I got some stuff at the ready.
Sweet.
Okay.
Definitely keep looking. Those America the Beautiful. Some of those series are loaded with them.
Yeah. And remember, don't ever believe what is written on anything holding a coin.
Yeah. Just skip that altogether. Okay. This is a die. Well, here's a die. Okay. If I have a die, I'm smashing that into planchets over and over and over again, I can form a crack in that die, and the metal just kind of spreads apart ever so gently. Okay. What's going to happen on the coin is the planchet is going to squeeze into that crack, and you'll be left with a little funny, lightning shaped little crack on the die, and it's raised up. Okay, that's a die crack. Now, let's say a piece of the metal pops off of here, a little piece breaks off from the die. Over here in the coin, I'm going to have a little blob of raised metal. Okay, that's a die chip. Now, if I break off an entire chunk of the side of this die from up here to down here, that's a cud, right? This is not a cud, that's a chip. A cud is going to end up looking, let me see if I can get this right. If I'm missing an entire section of that die, right, gone, I'm going to end up with a coin that's going to look like this. Right, because it's a piece of the die that is broken up. Let's pretend that this purple piece is the die that I'm producing a coin. All right, this is a die chip. All right, metal gets in there, leaves a little raised bit on your coin. This is a crack in a die. This is where it's kind of starting to just separate. So on the coin, the metal is going to get in there. I'm going to have a little extra metal on the coin. Right, this is a cud. That's a cud. This is actually the cud. But a cud die, if this were to strike a coin, I've got no opposing force in this space. I'm going to have this big blob of metal. That's what a cud is. This is a chip. See that? Isn't it cute? That's a little piece that chipped off. I lost it. That's a chip. And the cud is catastrophic die failure, where an entire piece is broken off the side. Get that hair out of there. Oh God, there's a hair in my Play-Doh. It's not my hair. Cud is oftentimes misused to describe any weird thing going on the coin if it's raised up. God, it's a terrifically misused term. This is a cud. Make no mistake about it. I'm going to pull up an article because Ken Potter has a wonderful article about that. One moment here. Let's see. Tripod. Ken Potter's Ready Vault. I'm going to give you a link here in just a bit. I can actually show you what I'm looking at. Here's the screen. Ken Potter's website. And he's got, where's the articles? Book supplies, coins. Man, it was here. Okay, I'm going to need a few moments and I'm going to find you that article.
Oh, yeah.
This is Ken Potter, by the way, when he's got his hair cut.
That was Ken Potter a long time ago.
Yeah. Let me just give you the whole darn link here. Read the whole darn site. I've lost the chat. Here we go. Read that whole site. There's so much information on there. You could read for weeks and weeks and never finish the darn thing. There we go. That's a cud. Unmistakable. See somebody referring to something tiny as a cud, it's that they probably are not well versed in what they're talking about. Maybe you should question whatever it is they're trying to sell you. Catastrophically undone die. It's not an actual. It's not an anagram, like say Chad. Right? It's just the name of this busted hunk of metal. It's a cud. You can chew your cud. That's a different thing altogether. All right, let me go find that article on Ken's. Here.
I've got a little bit of a tray showing off. Let me do that while you're taking a look, and we'll come back. He says, Mercury Dime, hey, want to show my new pickup?
Ooh.
That is pretty. Let's see that date a little better.
$1944. Nope, too pixelated.
What's that spike under the chin?
Oh.
Really like the colors in the reverse.
You got nice split bands up at the top and the bottom, just not in the middle here, huh? Here's nice.
That is a pretty looking coin.
There it is. I got his article here.
You got it? All right, coming back to you. Nice tray. You got it.
There's the screen. So he's got a whole bunch of articles here. I mean, just bunches of stuff, really. And I'm going to give you a link to this one. What is a major die break or cud? And he's got a small cud here. Here's another one here, right? See, the whole die is breaking. The whole side of the die is breaking off. It's why it goes from the rim into the design and back to the rim, right? Here, it covers the entire date. It's the side of that die has broken up. And he may have some images of, look, there's a cud die. There it is. The whole side of that die is broken away. You see it goes down pretty substantially. He's got other examples of cuds. Okay, and I'm going to give you the link to this article. And I'll paste it over here in chat. You can get in there and play with it. There you go. That's got it. Aha, that's a cud.
From Andrew. Talked to him today on Facebook. He may or may not be here. Anyway, lamination or strike through. Hello, is this a lamination or strike through? Some of our respected members commented lamination. Just want to know 100%. I assume he's talking about the coin roll hunting group that we run. Ooh, boy. So this is one of those tough ones. What year is the coin? 60.
1960. So you got tin and zinc in there.
Yep, I believe this is struck through a detached lamination from another coin. Anybody else?
I'll buy that. If that was a lamination and the piece had run off, then I'd expect to see more granular appearance in the metal in the space affected.
Yeah. Also, that spot right under the A that's kind of still normal. That throws it off a little bit. Also, a lamination this big, I would expect to see some sort of wood grain pattern on the rest of the coin too. And I don't. So it's a nice coin, and it's related to a lamination in the fact that it was struck through a detached lamination from another coin. So that's pretty cool.
There's another coin that's missing that metal.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Really nice one. I'd love to find that in a roll.
And I mean, this machinery, you can imagine the amount of grease and metal burrs and bits and pieces of stuff that are coming off these dies and the planchets and all the parts. And the extreme force involved in the minting process. Yeah, stuff's going to break off. Stuff's going to get in the machine. It's like a magnet in there for dust and dirt and everything else floating around. Awesome. So strike through was the answer. Let me grab the next one. It's also another strike through. We got a theme tonight, I think.
Yeah, I thought the theme was going to be dryer coins, but I guess not.
I'll take this one from Listen. 2017 strike through. 2017 P. Is this a legit strike through? It doesn't look like contact damage. If anything, I think it was struck through something very thin. Just wondering what your opinions are. And then he's got a 2019 P Lowell. I know a few of you like quarters. What are these odd striations on the coin that appear on the inside of the first circle of the reverse? Also, long die crack in her hair, huge die chip below the wheel, and some in the top of the building. I might have one just like that.
That's the state of Maine.
It does.
I mean, to me, it looks like a spot, like a stain. I can't really tell if there's any sort of indentation or elevation to it.
It looks like some of the letters are a little bit weak where that appears. Am I just seeing that, or?
No, that's consistent with a splash of grease. They do lubricate the dies. They don't lubricate the surface of the die, but they do lubricate the equipment, rather.
Yeah.
And every now and then, because you got a lot of moving parts in there, a little splash will fall onto a plant, and this happens, and it's just a shallow depression on the coin. So this looks like a little spot of struck through grease.
And that stuff can build up and harden and
and get into the devices and start getting clogged up with dust and doo-doo and actually obliterate the design element because it's packed full. You'll see this a lot on quarters where you got broader fields on those, and you get this little gap, a little space.
all right, let's take a look at that quarter he sent. Listen,
There's something on a Lowell inside.
It was on the reverse, probably a bell tower, chip on the bell tower, and then one on the wheel.
You get some heavy radio flow lines on there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Makes me hungry for some Starburst.
That's a well worn out die. So we're going to see a crack and chip in her hair. You see how those radio flow lines change when there's a design element quite close. That's die wear, and it'll wear differently depending on what's on the design. And some below or inside the wheel.
Also, okay. What was the odd stri? Oh, they wanted to know about the striations, and they appear on the inside of the first circle on the reverse. Okay, so we talked about that. And also, a long die crack in her hair and a huge chip. Oh, a huge chip below the wheel and some in the top of the building. Okay, so we saw the top of the building. When we look at the below the wheel.
There it is.
Help you on. Once your die chip reaches 4 square millimeters in area, they use the term die break. and you're starting to get there. That's a die chip.
So I just want to say, listen, thank you for giving us very descriptive locations of the issues on the coin, and not just saying, "What do you think?" I really appreciate that. Was a perfect explanation and question given along with the pictures, good pictures too. So thank you. That was ideal.
It's nice. It's a nice little grouping of different things going on. It's a nice one to look at.
Yeah, I mean, I'd keep this just because
Yeah.
I like these things. I like seeing the degradation of the die and its impact on the coin.
Die chips don't often add value to the coin. You get a little bit of added value on BIE errors on the BIE varieties on Lincolns. Give it time. Some of these may pick up as people learn about them. The bigger the chip, I think the more interest they should have. If they're in important areas, say in the letters, in the wording, in the numbers, in the date, I would expect them to gain popularity.
Chuck said something about is there a rule for 4 millimeters, or is there someone who stayed?
Whose rule is that? I'd have to. Geez, who did I get?
That was on Cuds on Coins.
That's what I was told when I was asked when I was asking him about I forget what it was, but that was his rule.
Yeah, that's Cuds on Coins rule of thumb.
Is that where that comes from?
Yep.
From Mr. Dubsack, MD or DD?
Loading.
There you go. So Mike Diamond operates Cuds on Coins, so he came up with that guideline. Sure, I go with it.
Cuds on Coins is it was BJ Neff and who's the guy that we argue with all the time?
Jason?
No.
Just checking. All right.
Chris, I think you and I both tangled over pictures with him.
Yeah, and plenty of other people too. Jade, is it? Oh, geez, I can't remember his name. There's some MD. What's up, Collector's Choice? Thanks for joining us. JC Stevens. That's the name. So Cuds on Coins is run by JC Stevens. And
Damage right there.
Jim Thetford.
Jim Thetford. Oh, God.
Do I need to know?
Oh, he's a fellow who floats around the Facebook groups offering just plain bad advice, incorrect information, fantasy ideas. There's no basis on reality, ever. He's in his own world, and it's a deviant world. It's twisted. Oh, when you meet him, you'll know.
All right.
All right.
Okay, I'm seeing classic MD across a lot of the features on this coin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got a viewer all the way from India. That's pretty cool, right?
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, I've seen Collector's Choice before. Welcome.
I would have to say that most, if not all of us, are from the U.S., the good old U.S. of A.
All right, let's move on to the
We
next.
checked that for a wham. It's 2,000.
I did. That's why I was doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I gotta look. Yep.
From Michelle. regarding a coin.
Yeah, let's
Wondering
get them
if I-
copper coins.
Wondering if I should get this coin graded, if it's
No.
worth the cost. Thanks so much.
Getting a coin graded should be a higher level skill. One should be able to determine the quality of the coin for themselves, come up with their own estimation of grade before even submitting it, so they know what the hell to expect.
This is a pretty one.
And if you can't make those determinations for yourself, you got no business sending a coin in to be graded, because it's going to come back as far lower than you could possibly expect. It's going to be worth less than it cost you to grade the thing. You have to have that information and look it up or determine it for yourself, or you're going to lose money every time. Here you got 1938S, pretty darn good shape. Looking at the bow tie and above the ear, I'm suspecting AU. I would want to get a better look at that. Take a look at the wheat ears. You got some nicks over there. It wouldn't get better than MS62, I think. On the rim above the pluribus, a lot of the letters, these are bigger distractions. And you wouldn't get red for sure. Is RB a possibility? And not in the AU state. This is a $3 coin. You're going to spend $45 to get it certified. That's a wee bit of wear above the ear.
I would call this a very nice album coin. It looks nice with the toning. I would proudly put that in an album.
Same here.
Copper coins, I pay $3 for it all day long. If your coin's not valued at a couple of $100, recovering the cost of certification is going to be a challenge. There's different ways to certify a coin, different companies to use, but probably the cheapest out there, if you do it on site, right, at a coin show. I think Annex has what, a $10 special
Yep.
in the fall or in the spring.
Sometimes
if you do it at a show and 10 of them at a time,
yep,
then it's probably worthwhile. If you'd have a coin worth a couple of $100. But what you're doing is you're spending more money on the coin. Justify that expense. If you're not going to market the coin, why are you spending more money? There's plenty of ways to preserve and protect your coin at home with flips or acrylic holders. And if you're going to market the darn thing, you want to be able to make sure that you're getting that coin into the right venue. Stax Bowers, for example, where they're going to offer some good quality coins, or Collector's Corner is a good site where you can get lower value slab coins. But I see coins all the time. MS64 brown.
All right, let's grab
They certified a 1965 penny. It's worth $1. From Adam C, a 1956 G OBW roll. Good evening. I purchased an original bank wrapped roll of 1956 D pennies on eBay. I went through this roll last night and found a new RPM. The RPM has double split serifs and a very nice die markers. Found 23 examples in the same roll. Very nice. The double mint mark is easy to discern and is rotated slightly. I'm going to send to James Wiles, but hope this one will be listable. It was easy to check with our other listings, as it says higher, closer to the date than most. That's a key indicator of the RPM, which listing number it is the position of the mint mark. He checked copper coins, Wexler, and Variety Vista. I think Chuck would definitely list it as I know James is pickier. Just thought I would share. I apologize for my scope. It's not the best. Well, that's high and tight. The mint mark position is going to be your first indicator when you're looking at listings of RPMs. Lots of polishing marks on this. So it's a later die state.
That die chip 9 makes a nice marker.
What's
I'm not making out the splits though.
I think yeah, I don't see any splits.
Yeah, I think we're down to the quality of the image.
Mhm. I guess you can kind of see something there.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's like real minor, and I guess you maybe, yeah. Yeah, I think Wiles mentions, got to be able to see it with a 10x loop as his minimum viable listing. We're magnified it quite a bit here. Yeah, I'd agree, Ant.
Yeah, we get into that. The thresholds of attributability. There are double dies that are so darn minor. Is it worth listing? Should it be listed? What's the baseline? What's the reference?
Make for a good discussion topic.
Well, I see a lot of VAMs are die cracks. At what point is a die crack worthy of being listed in a manual somewhere? How big should a die chip be that it should be listed? Because we got some of the BIE listings are so darn minor. It's just a connection between the two letters, and you get a pretty sizable chip in the 9. Well, geez, you got all kinds of these die chips in the late 50s. How about die cracks? Should they be a certain length, thickness? 1983, you got so many different die cracks, it boggles the mind.
All right. It's kind of funny that you said something about VAM because we have our next email that came in.
I'll take it.
It's a new name.
Josh Shellman, VAM 5 double ear. I bought this at an auction, and I'm curious what the VAM 5 means, and is this a double ear?
Hoogie's Hobby Shop just put up a short video and tips for new collectors about what the VAM is. VAM are the initials of the two guys who wrote the book on Morgan dollar varieties. And that's Van Allen, which is VA, and a fellow named Amalis wrote it with him. And you put them together, you get VAM. Who is it? Coins for Amateurs. He's got a video channel here on YouTube. He did 100 videos in 100 days, with each video a different VAM listing. Yeah, they're die varieties on Morgan and Peace dollars. There's double die obverse or reverse. There's repunch dates. There's die chips, cracks, a little bit of everything. Some of these die breaks are huge. There's clash marks. Now, Mollis, hidden says malice, but it's Mollis is the fellow's name. Van Allen and Mollis. So they got a number of listings for 1892-0, and they have at least 5. So this would be the 5th one listed. And it, what, doubling on the ear, he said?
That's right. I'm not familiar enough to know. I didn't see it because the graininess on the picture. I can zoom in again, but
well, I'm seeing something just below the ear. And pull up Van World.
1892
I didn't type VAM. This typewriter is on its last legs. There we go. Van World is a website that has a great many of these listings. 1892
Yes.
Got it. Let's see. Here's the screen. You can follow along. 1892 number 5. Doubled 2 ear. You got a repunched mint mark at the top, very near date, overlapping reading. That's a top 100 Morgan VAM. I can open that whole thing up and have a better look.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get the screenshot showing. So you got doubling on the right side of the ear. Pretty substantial. Let's see what we can see in this next photo. There you go. You got a repunch mint mark to the northwest on the O. There's some machine doubling in this example. Here's a better look at the whole darn thing. And something with the 8. What was with the 8? Okay, 5 of eyes. Double ear, OO top, very near date, overlapping reading. Rarity 4. The 2 in the date is doubled at the top outside of the upper loop. That's going to be tough to see, I think, with these images. Yeah, just a little bit of extra meat right at the top of the 2. Are you getting that in your piece? Yeah, the top 100 sticker is accurate. We're not going to see with the splashiness on that. The 1 is nice and close to the neck. This appears to be a good match for the VAM 5. Here's a comment. This is a variety that usually comes poorly struck. Well struck, high-grade examples show a doubled profile and slight tripling on the 9-2 of the date. The doubled ear of 1892 has been terribly elusive for many collectors. It's occasionally seen in VF up to XF. If you find one of these in AU or higher, snatch it up.
Cool. Very cool. All right.
It's a nice one.
All right. Let me grab the next question.
From Adam C. 1954S, new RPM. So from the same seller as the 56D roll, I purchased a mixed B roll and found this nice RPM. I compared it to all known listings on Copper Coins, Variety Vista, and Wexler's. What really gives this one away is the split on the tail and extra mint mark in the top part of the S. It was easy to check for its listing with it being directly under the 5 of the date. This coin hasn't been listed yet. I will send this one in with my other 56D. Nice looking coin. I see something going on under the top part.
Yeah, right there where he put his mouth. Yeah, RPM photos are real tough. We need good power cameras to get those to pick them out well. Yeah, we'll lose image quality. We zoom in too close.
Yeah. I have a difficult time taking pictures with my scopes of RPMs.
Curious where you're sending it to. I assume Wexler?
I mentioned Wiles.
Oh, did he mention Wiles? Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure he's going to list this one either. That mark we were pointing to inside the bottom opening of the S, I've always associated that with the actual mint mark punch itself.
You punch deep, you're going to get to the bottom. You get to the bottom of the S. And sometimes you get a blob inside those loops. 1968 is a great date for those. A guy had a strong arm when he was punching them.
Now, I do see something inside the upper opening of the S, right underneath.
Adam says, check the other photo.
I see it on the top part, right up in there, up a little bit yet. Yeah, that thing up in there, that's what I'm seeing.
That's an awfully big upper serif, even for this. I'm not making out the repunching though.
Yeah, Chuck is saying this is not a listable variety.
Well, let me load the next one. Read slow. We got last couple of emails and we'll be done.
There's another new name. Hey, if you're new to this program, we change from week to week. We'll have a different host. This week it's Mantic Coins, so make sure you subscribe to Mantic Coins. And we got a group on Facebook called Live Q&A. You can keep up with who's hosting that week. From Rockin' Roots Homestead, he's got a 2012 nickel. Is it an error? Doubling and machine doubling.
You did that nice and slow, and I had to download it the second time because the images are corrupt.
I can do it again. Rockin' Roots Homestead.
All right, let me try a different way.
2012 nickel. Is this an error?
All right. I think I got it down. Let me see if I can get it open. There. Yes, I got it.
Woo!
There it is.
Woo!
You can go ahead and spin that one.
Machine doubling.
doubling. Look inside that window.
Machine doubling.
Flat.
Major machine doubling.
No splits. Normal width. Flat shelf-like appearance.
So,
Made thinner.
Rockin' Roots Homestead, who sent this in, is new to coin stuff. So, very cool that you picked this out. You saw that it was different. So, good eye.
Yep.
Yep.
Anytime you see something different, right, save it. And I recommend holding on to it for several months, because what you're going to know 6 months from now is there's a whole world of information coming to you. You're going to be better able to explain what your coin is in a couple months. But by all means,
Sending it in for live Q&A.
but the most common things we get are machine doubling, a worn die, and just plain old damage.
And I highly recommend holding on to one like this as just an example to look at when you're trying to debunk any kind of machine doubling, because this is a good example. And then find a good example of one that is not doubled, and you can compare the two, and it'll pop right out. In that view right there, if you happen to have if you can get a hold of a 1939 doubled Monticello, you'll see the difference in the two. I actually have a video on my site where I talk about the doubled Monticello on my YouTube page, rather.
Very cool. So keep it up. Keep looking. Keep searching.
From Stonecutter. Should I slow down?
No.
Great planchet error. Check this out for the viewers to enjoy, and please explain how this would happen. Ooh. Well, there be a lamination. So a lamination error is when you have layers of the coin flaking off due to an improper alloy mix. These coins are 95% copper, 5% tin and or zinc, and sometimes they just don't mix properly. And sometimes you'll see a coin that looks like it has a wood grain pattern to it. We call them woodies. But it is an improper alloy mix. In some cases, those alloy mix layers will peel apart, and this is what you'll get when it peels apart at the surface of the coin. That's a pretty cool one. Looks like you could probably peel it off if you wanted to, but of course we don't want to do that.
And Blue Ridge found one. He found a lamination that was peeling up, and he pulled it off. He went right to it, and he kept it. So he's got a coin with a lamination peel and the peel itself.
Very cool. I like a lamb.
Zeke R. Grease error. The word of the United States of America on the reverse is completely gone. Looks like grease or just wear on the set.
Forgive me.
I was just going to say, maybe you should read it again.
Nope, that's a little bit of a weak strike. You get a whole lot of meat being absorbed on the other side of this coin from the vest on Lincoln. See how big that vest is? It's big. So if the strike is a little bit weak, well, you're going to find this on a lot of pennies. The letters in states of, maybe all the way from the D in United over to the M in America, they're going to be kind of weak, kind of missing. It's because it has not given a full sharp strike. And the metal, well, it got absorbed by this giant space on the other side.
Cool. All right. Guess what?
Is that it?
That's it.
Wow. That was 20 questions already?
That was more than that. That was 25, I think.
Wow. We really blazed through them tonight, didn't we?
Yeah, that's what happens when we don't run our mouth on some discussion question that's awesome. But you know, I think it worked out good because we had so many. I mean, we don't usually do that. We don't usually get through this many. We got through every 1 cent. So, man, thank you guys so much for sending all the great questions and pictures. And you know, we can hang out here a few minutes if you guys want. See if there's any questions that you guys have.
Yeah, do you guys have any questions? Oh, by the way, I am still working on the PCGS representative. He does want to join us live on one of these Q&As one night. So just keep thinking about questions you may want to ask. You know, I know we're all kind of guilty of bashing the graders once in a while, but let's all be respectful when he comes on and you know, come up with some good questions to ask him.
I got this ready. I can show you this.
Oh yeah, what you got?
You have these guys, they're greasers, like is what they call them, right? It's where you got some stuff that has gotten into the design and packed it full. Maybe a splash of grease and then some dust and debris and whatever else is floating around the system gets in there and packs it out, right? Fills it. You have a filled die. So if I strike a coin with a die that has some filling, what's it gonna look like in the finished product? Wait, I'm gonna be missing detail. Look, over here it's filled. On the coin, the C is raised, but the J is, well, it's kind of flat. They call them greasers. Well, it's a grease-filled die or a filled die. Whatever it was, it filled the die. That's what happens.
Old timers call it clogged die.
Now,
I've got some old 2x2s that somebody put together back in the 80s. It's got some, and the guy actually had a marked clogged die on them.
Yeah.
Here's where you start to get, I think I got a piece here somewhere. Let me move some stuff around. Here, watch this. This is really neat. Sometimes that little piece, right, will fall out. Aha. What's that? What happens then? And Denise has one of these. Let me clean this up. I got to get this. There, we got the die restored. Okay, sometimes that piece of clog will fall out, and you have effectively what's called a dropped letter. What happens then? You have a struck through dropped letter. So I'm going to press that die out, and I'm going to get this away because it's a strike through. It's not a retained strike through. Yep, come up, a little more. There we go. Get that out of there. Look at that. You have this piece that is struck through. It's shaped exactly like the size and shape of a letter. Denise has one that looks like, what is it, 1 cent?
Yeah, big S by the T and
these. These are few and far between. I think Blue Ridge Silverhound just showed one off, which had a dropped B in the field in front of Lincoln's head. That's what a drop letter, and this is going to be in use because it's a strike through. Well, that's the idea. Now, if you can find a piece that dropped out, then you got a really, really valuable thing. But that's not going to happen. All right. So struck through dropped letters.
So Captain Jigga had a pretty cool question, something I never really thought of, but if Kennedy died of old age instead of assassination, would Franklin still be on the $50?
Yeah.
I would say yes as well.
Yeah, usually those things run like 20 years.
25 is the standard.
25 standard. And yeah, he just didn't get his full run.
He got robbed.
He got robbed. And I like Franklin $50.
Yep. Then the question begs,
I think they're ugly.
let's say Franklin $50 had run their course, their 25 years or more. What would we have in our $50 today?
Oh, no. Well, let's see. Who was president in 89?
That was Reagan, wasn't it?
Reagan transitioning to Bush.
Well, they started them in what, 48? 48 they started the series. So 25 years on is 70, 50, 48, 58, 68. Yeah.
It would have been 4.
74. Would there be an Eisenhower dollar? Would Ike have been on the $50 instead?
Ford or Carter? Ford?
Well, they have to be dead for a certain amount of years before they can appear on a coin.
Oh, yeah, because
with the exception of Kennedy.
Well, Roosevelt, they put him on in 46. He dropped in 45.
I read something real quick the other day. They're talking about putting Bush on, Bush Senior.
Well, he's gone. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he's now legally eligible.
Yeah.
They're going to
How
do.
many living people have ever been on a U.S. coin? Can you name them?
There's Captain Jigga naming.
President Coolidge on the 1926 sesquicentennial dollar. And you got, let's see, Nolan Ryan on that baseball commemorative. And that's Nolan Ryan, and you ain't telling me anything else. And you got that hideous Shriver woman, Eugenia Kennedy Shriver on the Special Olympics dollar. Is that it for living people on coins?
Dude, you just named 3 I didn't know about. So
Yeah. I learned something.
Unless there's some odd commemorative.
Yeah.
30s.
Let me pull up the Nolan Ryan.
Copper coin says Lafayette, Isabella, and Coolidge.
I can't type.
you know what? I'm ready for some new designs. I just read Ant's comment. He wants Lady Liberty back. I agree. You know, let's get some different designs on the coins already. I love Lincoln cents, but come on, let's do something else with that. Let's do something else with Jefferson. I mean, they changed the design a bunch of times, but come on.
They've proven they can make some beautiful Lady Liberty coins. There's some of the designs that have come out in modern times have been beautiful.
There's a bit of a discussion that's been going on in chat. Maybe I can let me see here. I think here's the concept. I'll just lay it out for you. You're selling coins, and you have a Extreme MD on your coin, and you announce the fact that there's Extreme MD, and somebody still wants to buy that coin, and then it's an auction format, so the auction, the person's bidding up and eventually pay some amount of money that's way over face value for MD. So a couple of things here. Does that establish a market for MD? Does that mean MD has value or not? And do the seller have a certain obligation to understand what the coin is they're going to sell and prevent a buyer from paying too much? And then the other would be, does the buyer understand and fully understand that MD can be found in almost every roll of coins you ever open of any denomination? So it's common. It's so common. Why would you want to pay over face value for something you can open? You can get in pocket change any day of the week. So I mean, I think all these are great subjects to talk about. Anybody have an opinion?
Yeah, I have a good opinion there. I think we all have our own opinion about it, and that means that whether or not you and I think there's a market for it or should be a market for it does not necessarily mean that there aren't people out there who does enjoy collecting those and thinks there's a market for it. Just the other day I think it was the Joe Cronin Error Group on Facebook, one of their moderators who is extremely knowledgeable with errors kind of admitted that he collects machine doubling coins. There are people out there, even people you wouldn't think do, collect them. Whether there's a large market for it, I don't think so, but I think there is a market for it. I collect them myself, but I personally would never pay for one because I know how common they are. But when I find really good examples, I set them aside and I keep them. And I think a lot of us here do.
Sure.
And we all know they're common. And we all know that there really shouldn't be any value associated with it. But they're our opinions. And there's probably people out there who disagree with us. So I think it's just a matter of opinion.
Hey, that's a good point. We are all allowed to have our opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Share it, tell other people, and maybe, hey, and you know what? Our opinions can change too. You give me a great argument for or against, and I'm liable to change my mind. But that's what human communication is all about, anyway. Anybody else have another opinion? Because I don't want to get on.
I do. My take on it is I have no problem with anybody selling anything really, but be honest about what it is. Don't put it on eBay and call it doubled die. No, market it for what it is. Call it machine doubling. Call it something besides doubled die. Be honest about what it is. I mean, realize that when you are on eBay, you are presenting yourself as a coin dealer, and part of the standards of being a coin dealer is the guidelines of being a coin dealer is truthfully representing what you're selling.
You make a really good point there, Jeff, about when you sell on eBay, but it goes for any market you're in. If you're selling in that market, you are essentially a dealer, whether or not you consider yourself a dealer. I personally don't consider myself a dealer, but I buy and sell coins all the time. And to someone who doesn't know who you are or what you're about, to them, you are a dealer. And,
yeah.
That same thing kind of goes on. We've talked a few times about the YouTube channels. There's plenty of people out there that have their own YouTube channels and give out bad information. And to somebody new to the hobby who just happens to click on one of their videos, they don't know any different. And, it's just the same thing as being a seller on eBay. If I buy from somebody on eBay who's selling coins, I assume that that's what they sell and they know what they're selling. Of course, I know better now that I know what I'm doing, but a lot of people don't. Some people are new to the hobby and they just want a double die, or they just want something good, and they go out there and they find one and they buy it, and it's not what it is.
There was one other point that I failed to bring up that seems to be an important point that they're talking about in chat, and that was just because one seller brought this and one buyer bought it, and there was one event where this happened, doesn't establish a market for that.
No, you got somebody who doesn't know what they're spending their money on. That doesn't mean there's a market. means they have no idea what they just threw their money away on.
Right.
The culpability has to lie with the seller in such instances. They're not creating a market. They're not creating a demand. They're simply taking advantage of somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Some things don't have any value. Minor die chips, not usually a whole lot of value. Die cracks, not usually a whole lot of value. More extreme examples, yeah, they can be good for a few bucks. But I see some things being sold for exorbitant prices. And good Lord, get informed. There's a lot of channels out there that are putting out good information. Get informed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I should just make sure I'm perfectly clear. Copper Coins was only talking about that one thing about the market as his point of discussion. He wasn't agreeing or disagreeing with any of the other stuff really going on in the discussion. So sorry if I represented any differently there, Copper Coins. Let's see, Stemus. How would a seller stop a buyer from spending too much? Good question.
I have when I have auctions, a lot of times I'll have a buy it now, right? We start the bidding at $10, and if you don't want to bother bidding, or if the bidding gets too high, when it reaches 17, I consider that item sold. And I've seen scores of other channels selling things, and they let the bids get to exorbitant levels. My favorite example is the 1972 proof set that went for $22.
Oh.
$22 for a $5 proof set?
Yeah.
Well, get over and look at Coin Vault and see what they get for their stuff, because a lot of times they've got junk on there that's common date. Littleton gets better prices. Good Lord. And people who don't know what they're buying end up spending whatever 50% over on some things being sold on Coin Vault. But when you get into 2, 3, 4 times the value is the final sale price, it stops being a fun auction, and now it's just plain criminal. You're not doing a service to the hobby. Stop the bidding and back down the price. That's easy.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of coins out there. Yeah, they can go, 10% over or 20% over market value. But at 3, 4, 5 times, something else is wrong.
And I've seen Chuck do that 100 times.
Yep.
The thing is, if you're selling on eBay, I don't think you can actually do that. I don't think there's a way to do that on eBay.
Just by having to buy it now, that's about the only way.
By having to buy it now, I think that's the only way.
Yeah.
If I'm paying market price on anything on eBay, it's because I really want it.
Yeah. And using the TV shows and whatnot as a reference is crazy. I mean, that is above retail. It's crazy. The prices that they charge. I can't believe it. Don't buy that stuff. Don't. What I think we all can agree is that we as hobbyists, collectors, dealers hate to see people getting taken advantage of. All right, as one. And the reason is because it's not good for the hobby. It's not good. We need to grow the hobby, not shrink it, because people are angry about the rotten deal they got when they discover later that the coin they paid $100 worth is not worth more than $5. All right. I think it's really important. I think if we as hobbyists need to help grow the hobby so we can continue to buy and sell coins.
How many times a month do we see a poor man's double die on eBay with a $100 bid on it?
Oh, I mean, every few minutes one passes by, right?
There's another one.
So, I mean, that's the whole deal. So that's one. Now, 2, and we talk about this all the time. It's how do we educate the buyers so that they don't continue to make those types of mistakes? right? Well, you can't educate somebody that doesn't want to be educated, and they just blindly go spend money wherever they want. There's always going to be those people. But, I think that an educated buyer understands a couple of things. What are they buying? Why are they buying it? And what are they going to do with it when they buy it? And I think a lot of the stuff I've been seeing at auctions is people don't know. They just buy it because the herd is buying them.
I was at an auction. It's where I got this hutch over here. And in the advertisement, it said coins. So I went down to take a look. And there was a Delaware quarter in like an annex slab, right? MS-64. Good for $1. And that thing come up to bid, and it got to these two guys. One over here yelling, one over there yelling and waving. That thing went to $200. What? 200, 150, 160, 170, 180, 200. Sold. $200 for a coin worth $1. They weren't bidding to win the coin at the right price. They were bidding against each other. They were just pulling out to see who's got the bigger one, and by God, he's got the deeper pockets. He's going to get that coin. To the hell with the other guy. Wow, that's an expensive pride lesson.
Well, we often see those TV shows where people are competing to buy the locker for some amount, and they try to pull different stunts and beat the other person.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, they get the prize, and often that has to do with the fact that there is an unknown in that locker. All right, this is different.
By the unknown.
You can look at the coin, you can see the coin, you can hold the coin, you know what it is, or you better know what it is. You think they would buy those lockers if they knew it was full of just used clothing? No. They buy it on the chance that there's something of greater value stuck in there somewhere.
I actually like Dave Hester. You know what? He makes that show, man. Him and Ivy Calvin. I love Ivy.
And I think there is a game of chance, and I think a lot of us have different thresholds for how much we're willing to take a chance. I mean, Vegas was built on it, right? And I don't personally have an issue with gambling and taking a chance. And some people win and some people lose, and that's just the way it is.
Every time you buy something for resale, you are taking a chance. You don't know if it's going to sell. I go to a show with a set amount of money, and I get what I get, and I hope that I can at least make it back.
So the only edge we have is to be educated about what we're buying, right? And the way you get educated about what you're buying is by studying and looking at coins and knowing what is valuable. Can you, and I probably couldn't, can you rattle off the top 10 most expensive coins in your favorite series right now? Just write it down. Can you do it? Do you know what's valuable in your series? Do you know which doubled dies bring more premium than others, or RPMs, or any particular error in the series that you like to look at?
I got an example. Here's one that pissed me off. Guy's got a coin he posted in one of the Facebook groups. This is it. This is the exact coin that he posted. It's been gouged up by a Mack truck or something, right? It's ruined. Okay, in the comments section of that, we had a few responses. Let's see, here they are. And I blocked out the names because I was going to do a rant. And one fellow says, I found way worse. Okay, but the next one really just ticked me off, right? Sell it on eBay. Some sucker will pay handsomely for that coin.
Uh-oh.
What? Is this what it's become? It's hunting for suckers?
If they can't spell handsome, then I'm not listening to their comment anyway.
Yeah, this is not the hobby that I'm familiar with. Let me find my way home here. There. It's not a get-rich-quick gimmick. this hobby. Some of these coins are truly rare and valuable. People collect them. They put together sets. They put together every date and mint mark for a series. They put together one of every coin ever produced by the United States. And some of them get pretty darn pricey, right? But when you have a damaged, wrecked coin or something that has no value, and you put it out there with the hopes that maybe somebody will be dumb enough to send me $20 for that, that's got nothing to do with ethics. That's got nothing to do with values, right? The hobby, as I knew it growing up, it's about people offering good quality coins at fair prices. It's not about seeing how much you can get for this piece of shit off of some sucker. That's my 2 cents.
Or taking advantage of someone that doesn't know any better just to line your pockets. And it's unfortunate, but it's going to happen in anything where people are buying or selling and trading and of something of value, I suppose.
Yep, you name it. They just busted one guy for selling fake coins. Hit him with a good fine. I
tell you what, that stuff doesn't last long, right? You can only fool people so long, and it's hard to get a new customer that you screw over. How much does it cost you to get a new customer? These people that pay on networks and they pay this extraordinary amount of money, they know exactly how much it costs to get a new customer to pick up that phone and buy something. And they pay that amount because they deal in bulk. So I think that it's just...
That is not my listing system.
Yeah, I saw that. But anyway, we just want to look out for you guys and make sure that you're learning with us and have some character. Think about your character. Think about what me or anybody else out there might think of you if you sell them a coin that is nothing. Like, what do you imagine they're going to think of you? And do you want to continue doing business with them and other people? Do you want to attract people to come back and buy, every week? Or do you want them to just go away and pay for new people to see your stuff that you're selling, that ripping people off? I think character and I don't like to hurt people. I like to help people. When I was selling houses for a while too. And the only reason I could sell houses was because this was something people were going to spend the next 20, 30, 40 years of their lives. And a lot of people don't know about houses. So you really got to teach a new home buyer all the things they're about to get into. Did you think that for the next 40 years you're going to be mowing that patch of grass you have in your yard? Or did you know that in 15 years your AC is going to break and it's going to cost you $15,000 to $20,000? Did you know you have to pour bleach in your AC unit to make sure and keep it up? And how often do you clean your vents? And there is upkeep, otherwise your house is going to fall apart. You want it to be worth more in the future. So all these things. And then you got every real estate deal has got some unique thing. It might have a sewer system. It might have a
neighbor from hell.
Yeah, a neighbor from yeah. I mean,
O'Shea, the honest man's realtor.
I walked up and down my street and knocked on every door before I bought my house to make sure I just met the neighbors before I jumped in. And that was a question I asked them. I even came at midnight and 4 o'clock in the morning, rolled down my window and just listened for a minute because I didn't want a dang dog barking out at 2 a.m. in the morning, waking me up every night. So, but these are kinds of things that a brand new person to home buying is just excited to start their families and they get into it without realizing what they've done.
I moved out here. I come take a look at this place, and the neighbors over here, they're shooting at targets. I said, I'll take the place. Boom, boom. It's about treating people right. Really, that's what this whole thing comes down to. We have a collection. We have a hobby. We have a thing that we like to do. And we get together with other people who like to do their thing. And it's a similar thing. It's weird. It's freaky, but it's our thing. So we go with it. And some of these things have wonderful value, right? Be it stacks of silver or silver rounds. Or I meant to talk about the special mint set 1994 nickel here. There it is. We got one of those. Some of these rare things with 174,000 produced. Kind of neat. Yeah, you can get these coins. And you can pay a fair price. Really, there's so much competition out there. I don't know why you would sell anything for overvalue when the people can get the same darn thing somewhere else and pay a fair price. And it comes down to treating people right. You can get coins for better than retail value, and you can market them for a fair price for retail. And you can make a few bucks, right? We're talking 15 to 25% is typical. So now if you just have a lot of customers and move a lot of product, you can make a substantial living doing this. A real honest living, right? You're not gouging people. You're not screwing them over. You're not selling them, a sack of crap. And you do it with integrity. And that's where it all matters, because you're treating people right. You're giving them good value for a good product. You're above board. That's what's going to bring them back. You stick it up their ass one time, they're going to tell every single person they know.
Absolutely.
If you treat it right every single time, they're going to come back. And as much as it costs you to get a new customer, to find a new buyer, to get them to sample your wares, driving them away because you overcharge them, $22 for a 1972 proof set, you're cutting your own throat is what you're doing. It's a good hobby. It's been around for decades, well over 100 years, right? And the people keep going back to the sellers who are offering a good product at a good price, offering good service, treating it right. What was the one that the guy had the comment about the rude guy in the shop?
Oh yeah.
I swear that's the same guy I grew up with. What do you want, kid?
Yes, small date.
Yeah. What do you want, kid? I just wanted to look. Well, you're wasting my time.
You know what?
Right.
I kind of feel for the rude guy in the shop, though, because I think a lot of people think I'm the rude guy in the shop, and I know Chuck thinks a lot of people think he's the rude guy in the shop, because you deal with so many. I'm going to use the word pleb. You deal with so many plebs for so long, you kind of get short with people, and you get frustrated with people, and you may come off as the rude guy in the shop. But at the end of the day, we are all stewards for this hobby. We are out here in the public eye. We are running the Facebook groups. We have the YouTube channels. It's our job to share knowledge, good knowledge, accurate knowledge. It's our job to call out the bad ones and highlight what they're doing wrong so others can see it. That's why we're here. We all love this hobby, and we all want it to grow and maintain and continue. So at least that's why I'm here.
Yeah. I've been passionate about coins. I watched a coin op video about look at what you can find in your change back in 2017, and then I just haven't stopped. I love the chase. I love the finds. I love the depth of history and knowledge that it takes to be good in this field, and I love to look at double dies and RPMs and errors and all that stuff. It's fascinating to me, and it's a fun hobby. It really can be. It's something you can share with friends and family and be excited about, and I think it's great. So share it, be cool to others, have fun, and learn a lot. And I think if you have that sort of mentality, you'll go really far with this hobby. And you don't you're going to make mistakes. And that's
and they're going to be expensive ones.
and each one you'll learn from, right? There's no better lesson than some failure that you've.
Have you made a mistake and it's cost you more than $100? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So, but don't be afraid to make mistakes. Sometimes you make a mistake. I found a mistake I made turned out to be kind of valuable. You know, it was a mistake that I thought it was one thing, and it turns out it's still valuable, more valuable than it was, but it it was not the thing I thought it was. So so that can happen too, but not as often as the other one where you can make an expensive mistake. But hey, SJ's here, so I guess we better wrap it up.
Sylvia.
Yes.
Just in time, man. How you doing tonight? Well, we sure have been ranting a long time, huh?
Seamus makes a great point. I'd rather learn from your mistakes than my mistakes. You're darn right.
Yeah.
We've made plenty.
That's
I'll tell you
what you expected. I bought, oh, geez, I was looking at a particular coin on eBay. It was a 1974 Eisenhower. And I'm looking and thinking, dude, that's a peg leg. That's a peg leg. And I bought it, paid for it. The thing arrived. I'm looking at it thinking, this is bullshit. So I'm back to the listing and it says stock photo. Okay. Yeah.
I've been gotten by that before.
They are rampant on eBay. Beware. Always check.
Stock photo.
I did that about 6 months ago with a Jefferson nickel. The picture was a beautiful full step, somewhere in the 50s, and it showed up, and nowhere near full steps. And I got all fired up. I was pissed off. I went in and looked back at the original listing, and sure enough, this is a stock photo.
Yeah. You know what's worse is when they have a stock photo of the actual doubled die, and you can see it clear as day, and you know that coin is a doubled die, and you start bidding on it and
hit the buy button. Buy now.
And then
Express.
You know the other one? You know the other one I absolutely hate on eBay? I'm just going to point this out real quick because I got screwed by it. All right. I have 5 slab Jefferson nickel silver wartime nickels. $12.99. In the small print it says 1. But in big print it says 5 Jefferson nickels. I'm going to get all 5 slabs.
But he has 5, Shay. Don't you get it? I'm being
You sell it more. Yeah, they don't make it clear.
You know what? That guy knows exactly what he's doing. He's suckering people. And so 5 people buy it, right? And 4 out of those 5 just suck it up and deal with it. Only one of those 5 say, hey, you kind of screwed me. I want to return. So he makes out.
Still sold 4.
People do that stuff on purpose because they know they're going to get suckers, and they know they're going to get people that aren't even going to be bothered to go through with the return or whatever it is. And it's terrible, but that's how people work. I hate eBay for that. Another one that's bad with eBay is you actually find something really good and it's a really good deal and you win it. And then next thing you know, they send you a message, oh, I'm sorry, I lost the item or whatever. They make up some sort of excuse because they don't want to sell it to you that cheap. They were betting on it going higher. And has that happened to any of you guys before?
Yep.
That's
with my product.
Um,
It says I bought a 20-cent piece on eBay for less than $20 because it was listed as a quarter. Pictures were terrible, but I knew because of the direction of the eagle was facing.
Nice.
Did you get receipt of that device for $20? Because that'd be a heck of a peach.
Yeah. Did you imagine? I mean, I saw a 2-cent piece that was a small date 1864. Small motto. And it was going for $39. Heck yeah.
What they had.
I missed it because of an unfortunate trip to out of town, but that coin in good is worth hundreds of dollars. So
thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
I've got a quick eBay tip that I learned this week that probably everybody knows except for me. These, you can't buy coins with these.
Nope. Or precious metals. No go. So the way around that is to get PayPal cards instead of eBay cards.
You know, I suggest a bunny suit, bunny ears, or some other wearable. Sorry, this is
To buy with the eBay dollars instead.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I treated myself to a new Bausch and Lomb loop. I need a 7X for when I'm taking the grading class.
I almost thought you said lube for a minute, but you said loop.
No.
There's some money ears right there. Groucho glasses.
You won't go wrong.
Something to spice up your environment. Some oh, you know what every coin collector needs is some sort of fragrance, like because this stuff stinks, man. You get a glove that looks like this. This thing starts like moving across the table by itself after a week of coin roll hunting. You ever smelt this stuff? It stinks up the whole room.
Well, for that, I use things like I would definitely shit here again, laboratory mist.
Been a while since I saw that.
Oh, that's so nice.
Oh man,
I keep all
things
my
get wild later at night, don't they?
Yeah, it's a circus over here at nighttime.
You know, one thing I like about what we do here, we keep it real. We're, I mean, we are average, everyday people who love coins.
Got a deck of cards for Chris earlier.
Oh no! Yeah, I don't think.
No.
I don't think you want to do that.
No.
Okay, time to end the show. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, but I mean, we're all down to earth people. You know, I mean, I'm sitting in my basement with my daughter's plaything behind me. You know, I've seen a few other shows that have started after we started this one, and good for them. They're doing a good thing too, but they're real kind of stuffy. It almost looks like a news conference. That's not for me, right?
Yeah, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. I've been saying that for years.
All right, guys.
Is that it? We got nothing.
Yeah.
I want to know what. Wow, where did she go? Ballard Janine. She said that comes in handy. I'm just curious to know what she meant by that. I think I know already.
Seamus says this sure beats the flat Earth stuff that I used to follow.
Oh,
Flat Earth. Coin Q&A.
wow.
That's funny.
Don't even get me started on conspiracy theories. There is a reason why I stack silver and collect guns.
Have you made it to open pollinated seed yet? Terrible man. That's the stuff to collect.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well,
Minded community.
we're going to wrap it up and talk about all this wonderful evening. And we hope to see you guys again. And who's doing it next week? Who's up?
Jeff, are you practiced?
I'm feel practiced. The only problem is next week I'm going to be on call for work, and the last thing I'd want would be to get a call and have to cut the broadcast.
Call in, quit.
I'll just quit.
Quit. What the hell? You don't like that job anyway.
Some of us like our coin budgets. We can't quit.
I'll tell you, I'll quit if you let me come down to your house and pick through your air conditioning vents, Ken.
Okay. You got a deal. You sweep the floor under the table. Don't touch the desk. Don't move nothing on the desk.
All right, so the best we could do at the moment is to say keep your eyes on Coin Q&A Facebook page, and we'll post there in the YouTube or Coin community probably, and let you know who's coming up.
The week after that, most definitely.
All right.
That'll work. I'll do next week. You do the week after. Frank's on vacation. He went south. So
Yeah, you meeting up with him at all, Shay?
He's supposed to be sitting in his chair.
Hmm.
But no, it didn't work out. But I hope to see him. Yeah, I do.
Well, things happen. Believe me, I know.
there you go.
Yep.
That's a good plan. We'll make sure we get plenty of practice for Jeff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we should do that.
We'll do an impromptu goof off
Yep.
show.
Just let us know, Jeff.
Hey, you know you gotta set Jeff up a few times next week, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You got me?
I'll leave a critical word or two off the script.
Or add a weird one in there, like I forget what it was now.
Seepin.
C-pens.
I'm so bad with reading too. That's gonna be. If I'm reading out loud, I mean, I can read fine.
Oh, he's gonna get you good.
Oh man. Go ahead. I know it's part of the deal.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. We'll see
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Have a good night.
See you later.
Oh man, my outro didn't work.
Go fess your life.
Hit the hammer.
Bye, all.
Bye.